What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. The day is here. NFC and AFC championship games today. We have a free play in Joe Burrow. Got a great couple of games this afternoon. I also need the Eagles to win to cash this $40 bet that I put back in August. So fingers crossed it becomes a very good day today. Looking forward to it. Let's get started. As always, if you enjoy the content, appreciate it if the like button, subscribe if you have not already. I have 5 plays, and then I have the Joe Burrow freebie, so I'll have 6 plays today. Let's get into it. First one, we're going to start with the free play in Joe Burrow. I mean, if you're making an entry, you got to have at least one with Joe Burrow. Capitalize on that. It will be one that you can pair with one other one, or you can just pair with 4 or 5 other ones and make it like a 6-pick flex. But that's the first one I'm looking at. Obviously, second one, got a couple of over receiving yards that look pretty appealing. First one I'm going to is A.J. Brown. It's at 69.5 currently on Prizepicks. If you saw the game last week, he was frustrated against the Giants. Just even though the team crushed him, he just wasn't really involved in the offense, and you could see his frustration on the sideline. So it's probably going to be a spot where Sirianni and Jalen Hurts look to get him involved early, because they'll probably need him to have at least a decent game today. So look to get him involved early, and if you target him early, it's probably going to carry over to the rest of the game, and you'll see a very nice performance from A.J. Brown, being with his head in the game the whole time out. And just poor game last week. He was coming off of a really good stretch. If you look at like FanDuel currently, if you look at just some of these odds on these receiving props, his number is at 71.5 on FanDuel. So you're getting a little bit of a discount here on Prizepicks. I think he's going to have a great game. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes for over 100. So that's the first one. The second one is going to another number one receiver. Basically, he's a tight end, but he's their number one pass catcher, and that's Travis Kelce on the Chiefs. It's at 76.5 on Prizepicks. He's going to show out in these championship games. Last year against the Bengals, even though the Chiefs lost, Kelce did whatever he could. 10 catches, 95 yards, and a touchdown against the Chiefs, or against the Bengals. The Bengals, they're pretty talented defensively, but they still have some holes in the secondary. Like the Bills, even though the Bengals beat the Bills last week, on paper the Bills have a better defense statistics-wise, but the Chiefs are at home. Some questions around Mahomes' ankle. Wasn't too much of a worry. He was practicing fully. Wasn't really looked hampered in the press conferences. Didn't have a boot on or anything like that. So he should be a full go. And he's going to be looking at Kelce. Not having, obviously, Tyreek Hill this year has led to a lot of more attention for Kelce for defenses. But he's still having a very solid year. And he should have a good game today. Expect this to be pretty high-scoring game. I mean, probably higher scoring than the Eagles game, just with the 49ers might struggle against that defense. The Eagles are also going up against their toughest test defensively. And if you look at on FanDuel, if you look at the receiving props in this game, you have Travis Kelce at 77.5, so you're getting another discount on Prizepicks by a yard. So those are 3 props I'm looking at. The next one is taking an under quarterback pass completions and going under Brock Purdy once again. This is at 19.5, which I find pretty surprising. I mean, out of his 8 starts that he's made, he's only hit this over 1 time. He's been under 20 completions, 7 of the 8 starts, and now he's going up against the toughest defense, the toughest defensive line, the toughest secondary, in the toughest environment. Philadelphia should be hostile. There's probably a good chance Purdy, nobody knows what to expect. He could crumble under the lights, under the pressure. The Eagles' defense could be all over him. Or he could have a decent game. But even if he does have a decent game, I don't think Shanahan's going to put too much pressure on him to, make a ton of things happen with his arm, unless they end up just being down huge, which in that situation, is probably over with anyways. But they're probably going to start with some runs, some easy completions. They don't really like to throw super deep. They like to use Elijah Mitchell, McCaffrey out of the backfield. So I like this under. I'll probably see the Eagles being able to contain Purdy and not let him do anything great with his arm, and the Niners will have to use like Debo out of the backfield, McCaffrey out of the backfield, some sort of combinations to move the ball. So I'm taking the under on Purdy, under 19.5. I mean, 7 out of 8. He's hit the under, and going up against the toughest defense, I say why not? Another under that I'm looking at is receptions. And this one, we're taking the under 2 on Juwan Jennings. Now, this one is probably a spot where it could be a push situation. He's had a ton of games this year with 2 receptions. But he's played 8 games with Purdy. There was about 3 of those games were without Debo, who missed about a month with his injury. And in those games, you saw Jennings have 1 game where he had over 2 receptions. That was against Seattle where he had 3. But he's only hit over 2 receptions 4 times out of the 18 games played. In the games with Purdy, he's only gone over it once, and that was a game without Debo. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he's, kind of shut out of the offense today and they look to get Debo and Ayuk and Kittle and all those guys more involved than Jennings. He could have 1 catch or 2 catches, but I'm pretty shocked if he goes over 2. So I'm taking the under here. And then the final one, we're taking a fantasy prop. This one, I am taking Jalen Hurts over fantasy. He's been doubted all year, especially from a lot of the media, especially from like Chris Sims. What a joke. And he saw some other guys say that he's like out of the ranking of the quarterbacks and have him at 4th. This stuff gets to Hurts probably. He doesn't let it show emotionally or show on his face, but probably internally wants to show all these people out. They're at home. He's going to run a little bit. He has been super solid in every single game except for that game against the Giants, which was the first game from a shoulder injury, and it was pretty limited in the game plan offensively. They didn't want to show too much because there was a chance that they face the Giants the next week or 2 weeks from there in the playoffs, and that's exactly what happened. But anyways, I like Hurts over 22.5 fantasy. The Niners have a good defense, but he doesn't make many boneheaded mistakes like Dak Prescott. He doesn't really turn the ball over much. He makes good plays. He has great weapons around him. Eagles should still put up points. They have so much talent offensively. And Hurts is always looking to run into the end zone for touchdowns, so he always gets those upsides there with those fantasy points. So that's what I got today. I kind of like it. Good amount. Burrow over, obviously, the freebie. Brown over receiving yards. Kelce over receiving yards. Purdy under completions. Jennings under 2 receptions. And Jalen Hurts over fantasy. Thanks for watching. Best of luck. And I'll catch you all next time.